approach you. So today we continue with our discussion on leadership. Still on the same section 3, taking action. An introduction will repeat. We're going to repeat the introduction just to help us to flow very nicely. Introduction to this chapter. Two of humanity's most fundamental needs are food and water. Any species of life unable to acquire them in sufficient quantity cannot survive. For these reasons, leaders at all levels should consider carefully the issues of agricultural development and diet. Thank you very much for the greetings. Hare Krishna. Yes, this is in order to ensure a sustainable future for everyone. It's a very high consideration. If you will look very carefully, because sometimes we have eyes we don't see, or we have ears we don't hear. No one dies for not eating meat. No one dies for not eating meat. No one. No one dies for not eating meat or taking alcohol or gambling, illicit. Nobody died because of not doing them. Nobody. But without food, no water, nobody can live. Thank you very much. Happy Chandra to all assembled Vaishnavis and humble obeisances. Thank you very much for your greeting. Yes, nobody can survive without food, without water. Nobody can survive. Water is so important. We have discussed it before. How important water is. You cannot do puja without water, because you have to purify your hand before you chant the mantra. Can you imagine if there's no water to brush your beautiful handsome body? You don't know water to bathe it. Imagine that it will be. The body which we cherish and nourish and maintain and do all kinds of things to maintain it. If you're a normal person, if you're not a mad person, if you're a normal person, don't wash it for one day and see how you feel. Very nice. Nasty. It doesn't matter if you love Brahma's body, whatever, because it's made of material elements. So it will function that way. But without food, without water, we cannot survive. Therefore, instead of us to waste our time with secondary considerations or something that has nothing to do with it at all, there are certain things we do every day which is 100% nothing to do with us. And today people are very attached to those things which are 100% useless. They don't need them at all. 100% we don't need them. We have become so attached to them and forgotten about primary duties. There are so many things we are doing today which we don't need them at all. Not at all. Do we need alcohol to survive, to exist? Do we need alcohol? 100%, zero. Nothing to do with it. Zero. But we are very attached. So it is a very important thing that all of us leaders, should consider carefully the issues of agriculture, development, and diet. In the first country, the Prophet mentioned in the purport, when you eat the sanctified food, when we eat sanctified food, when we eat sanctified food, what happens when we eat sanctified food? We will develop the good brain substance, we will develop good brain to understand Christian consciousness, to channel Christian, to have a good mind to practice Christian consciousness. We have good health to practice Christian consciousness. The mind will be good. The mind will accept Christian consciousness if he eats sanctified food. Our body will agree with it. Everything will be favorable towards Christian consciousness. And when we do something against that, we will never be attracted to Christian consciousness. Never. So it is not just about the food. It is not just about food, agriculture, diet. It is very important, very, very, very important to maintain this body for us to practice Christian consciousness. It's very important. So this is the introduction, and we are repeating it every time so we can understand. And you notice that every time we look at this, we say something different. So let's move on to this consideration. Lack of food and water. A society that cannot feed itself or protect itself from disease is a very precarious situation. That we are seeing today. Today, just see. Just before our eyes, it is happening. It's not just something in a book. It's thing that is practically happening that we can see. That is the beauty of Christian consciousness. When we look at our Gita, look at our philosophy, look at the material world, look inside the world, we see everything practical. Everything. We are not going to eat both or not. We are not going to eat both and not. We are going to eat grain, but not both and not. It may be expensive more than the grains. Yes. Both and not may be expensive more than the grains, but nobody is going to eat that, including the people who are manufacturing it. They will not eat both and not. Even for them to manufacture that, they have to eat grains. So it's very, very important. Food production per person has declined due to degraded farmland that has developed under the pressures of rapid population growth, harmful environmental policies, and competing demands for fuel, food, and pasture land. I heard that in some countries, half of the grain they produce, they will dump it inside the water and leave only half so that they can sell at expensive rates to people. And in some countries, if you go to the shopping malls, there are more animal food than human food. What kind of civilization is this? What kind of civilization is this? Now we are using the land which is meant for agriculture, for industrial development. cutting down forests, trees. As we mentioned last week, some countries are sending, as soon as the children pass their school years, send them to the city, leave all the old people there in the land. We are creating a very dangerous future. Food production per person has declined. Degraded farmland. What is that? Degraded farmland. We are using fertilizer which destroy the quality of the soil. I remember when we were small, we don't talk about fertilizer, we talk about manure. This is what we are discussing. During our activities, we talk about manure, decompose waste or grass. I remember those days, we would cut all the grass and push them in the school compound, all the grass that grow when we are on holiday. Nobody stays in the school there. And we resume school, for the whole week, we'll be cutting all the grasses, we'll cut and push all of them into a very big pit and cover them with soil. In some time, they will decompose and we use that for planting all the crops we want to plant. We never thought of fertilizer. Fertilizer came in after some time. And now all over the world it is fertilizer. We're not fertilizing anything, we are simply destroying the soil, the quality of the soil. I remember very carefully, vividly I remember. Many years ago, my father had so much produce that we don't finish harvesting them. But the same soil today, when we plant the same thing, does not produce as much as before. The same soil, the same country, the same place. What has happened? The soil had been destroyed through our fertilizer, and also when the rain falls in the daytime, the soil quality is destroyed. When pious leaders were ruling, rain doesn't fall in the daytime. Rain falls only in the night. And sufficient, not too much, not too little. Sufficient to take care of the, the land, the soil. These days, rain is falling mostly in the daytime, destroying the quality of the soil. And then the remaining destruction comes from fertilizer. And every day, it is becoming more and more gross and gross and gross, gross and gross. Everything is becoming artificial, plastics, everything. Vegetable plastic, grains plastic. A few years ago, it was a huge, heavy news. The rice we're importing from China was all plastics, not grains. Complete plastic. But they're made so nice as grains. So all of us should be very, very careful with what we are buying on the market. So be very careful. All of us be very careful of what they are buying from the market. We are buying chemicals or poison to destroy ourselves. Harmful environmental policies and competing demands for fuel, wood, and pasture land. They're all destroyed. Destruction is going on. This human greed. So we don't have sufficient food. Food is expensive. And now we are talking about food is expensive. A time shall come according to 12 canto Bhagavatam, where there will be nothing at all, nothing. So not even that it's expensive, you're not going to see it. We are already culturing that scarcity, because as we mentioned last week, when all the present people who are farming now leave the planet, who is going to be there? All our children are in the city manufacturing both and not. Yes, water is polluted. So we are in a very dangerous situation. So we should consider very carefully agriculture. A few years ago, we were having a seminar every year in Mayapur. And one friend came to me and she said, "Man, I don't like this seminar." I said, "Yes, don't worry. Today you can tell me like this. Tomorrow you are going to eat your boat and not in the office. Don't worry." Another devotee tell me, I have never lived in a village before. Where am I going to keep my hair? Oh, don't worry. So don't worry. A time is coming when you will tell me whether you're going to eat your hair or you're going to look for rice and who is going to produce it. After you ask for this seminar to educate you how important agriculture is. Next. Contributing. Yes. One reason for the world's food shortage is a distorted sense of priorities in pounds per person. More explosive exist in the world than food. Around the world, financial and economic issues increasingly receive greater priority in human welfare. Unfortunately, not all economically feasible decisions are humanly sound, and many of them can contribute to global instability, which is already happening. Yes. The global food crisis can be attributed to humanity's ineffective use of the 20% of the Earth's land surface available for agriculture. Learning, too, is the fact that most of the world's good land is threatened by desertification. This is what is going on. This is what is going on.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. It seems that the network is unstable. So Bhakti is joining us. So,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shri.
Sorry for the disconnection. All right. Yes. Contributing factors around the world. So as leaders, we should take this very, very seriously. We can say, well, so what have I to do with this? Because I'm just an office worker. I'm a small girl, a small boy. I'm just, what has this to do with me? I don't have anything to do with this. All of us have something to do with this. All of us will have something to do with this. We have to support any project which is taking interest into our primary need. We have to support that project, agriculture. And that will help us and bring everything into a reality and something which is possible that can be done and should be done. Yeah. Right, next. Vegetarianism, a solution on many levels. Vegetarianism is a solution on many levels. Because food has a profound effect on human well-being. One major way to develop a more sound mind and body is through diet. Indeed, diet affects not only your personal health, but the health of the entire planet and all its inhabitants. For these reasons, a vegetarian diet becomes the most compassionate and agriculturally sound approach to a more positive future in which humanity can feed themselves and world ecosystems can maintain their balance. Vegetarianism. We already mentioned how important eating sanctified food is. We will talk about sanctified food, which will help us to develop a good brain substance for understanding Christian consciousness, for understanding Krishna. Gurudev mentioned here that the food has a profound effect on human well-being. Yes, everybody knows that if you don't eat, you're not going to have the strength to do anything. Yes. So one major way to develop a more sound mind and body is through diet. Indeed, diet affects not only your personal health or the health of the entire planet and all its inhabitants. Yes? If you don't have health, how are you going to preach Krishna consciousness? The world is benefiting. If you have a good food, we're going to have a good body, healthy body for Krishna consciousness. And we can help the whole planet by when we travel and preach Krishna consciousness. Another way, you can sit one place and do the own preaching. Whichever way possible, it can be used to preach, to expand Krishna consciousness. Therefore, vegetarian diet becomes the most compassionate and agriculturally sound approach to a more positive future in which humanity can feed themselves and world ecosystems, can maintain their future balance. If you have a vegetarian food, what is important in vegetarian is eating food which is free from sin. Of course, even if it is not offered, the vegetarian food, it has a lot of benefits. And what if it is prasadam, is Krishna prasadam, which is not only to take care of the body, but to take care of the soul as well, is so important. So important. That we become a compassionate person. How are we going to preach if we don't have compassion? How are we going to be harmless if we don't have compassion? How are we going to take interest in other people's life if we don't have compassion? How are we going to feel the pains of others if we don't have compassion? And compassion cannot just come like that. We have to develop it. We have to practice the process, beginning from vegetarian foods. There is compassion. We learn from the authorities. Compassion is there. That will come from vegetarian food which we eat. A diet of grains, vegetables, and beans uses 20 times less land than a diet of meat. That is true. If the earth's available land were used primarily for the production of vegetarian food, the planet could easily support a much larger population. This is another benefit. It's another benefit that it depends on if we produce grains, vegetables, and beans, we'll have more land to produce more things than when we maintain the slaughterhouses and animal farms to produce more animals for people to keep and eat. Apart from the fact that we are destroying the people's life, we are also destroying the land and also reducing the land which is supposed to be used for most essential need of the human life: grains, vegetables. So we can see how dangerous a life of a person who not in Christian consciousness is. If the earth's available land were used primarily for the productions of vegetarian food, the planet could easily support a much larger population, would produce more food, cheaper food for people, and sanctified food that will help people to develop good brain substance, good brain tissue, for understanding Krishna consciousness, for becoming compassionate. Even these days, when we go to health places, what do you see? Building, but we don't see any farmland as such. We don't see much farming as such. So we see buildings, everything. So much buildings are going on. We are using the land to build houses for sale gratifier to come and exploit the system, gratify their senses. In this way, we are reducing also the food for people to eat and get the health to practice Krishna consciousness or to preach Krishna consciousness. So we can see the level of destruction, the amount of destruction we are causing the planet by our selfish end. We are so selfish, we're so selfish, so destructive, so dangerous. We're creating problems in the whole world. And the consequences is what we are facing today. Look at the present situation, no one is happy. No one is happy. And everybody are pointing hand to the virus. Everybody is pointing hand to virus. Virus, we mentioned this morning. Virus is not what is killing people. Virus is just the instrument. What is destroying people is our sinful activities. Because we are not living according to nature's law, nature's arrangement. We are not friendly with nature. We are not making friendship with nature. We are very destructive. The consequences is what everybody is feeling. No one is happy in this world. Everyone is anxiety. Some people are saying that this is teaching people sense, that people are going to change. They will not change because it's not purifying their heart. People are simply living on fear. How would that purify their heart? As soon as all the problem goes, so people will continue with their simple attitude. Even as the problem is going on, I have seen some time back that while there was a lockdown and there's a heavy announcement and restriction, social distance, but the liquid soap does not have that caution, social distance. So how people are changing? The liquid soaps have no restriction, no caution to warn people, social distance. It is not there. In the places of worship, the places of worship are being locked down. The liquid shops are being opened. And people are not warned that they should maintain social distance. How people are changing for this? We're not changing. We are simply living like animals, not learning from what is happening. People are changing. You see, I saw a few days ago, people were throwing their deities into the water. So how will people change when we are becoming inimical, we are becoming agnostic, we are becoming more sinful? The deities we have been worshiping for years, we are throwing them away to the sea, to the water. Why? Because we have no faith in what they've been doing. And when we don't have faith, we are doing idol worship. We're not doing deity worship. People have been doing idol worship. Therefore, they don't get any benefit. And they're not getting purified. And they are becoming depressed and disappointed. A true worshiper of Krishna cannot become disappointed. A true worshipper of Krishna can never become disappointed because there's no reason to be disappointed. Why Kunti Devi will not be disappointed with Krishna? Why Prahlad Maharaj will not be disappointed with Krishna? Why Jesus the Christ will not be disappointed with Krishna? Why Prahlad Maharaj, Dhira Maharaj? Why they were not disappointed? Why Jesus? Why Jesus was not disappointed with Krishna? The Pandavas. Why the Pandavas were not disappointed with Krishna? Why don't they not be depressed? Why Acharyas are not disappointed with Krishna or depressed? Why? Because they are worshiping Krishna fully from their heart. And those who are worshiping idols are not getting purified. Therefore, they're getting disappointed and throwing the deities away. How people are changing? They're not changing. They're not learning anything. They're not learning anything. This is what we're seeing every day. Yes. Next. Meat eating and the human body. Meat eating and the human body. The human body is naturally designed for eating vegetables and fruit. That is nature's arrangement. Nature is very kind. Very kind with us. That everything for our maintenance has been provided. Even before we took birth. Once a very grateful child, very, very grateful child. Very grateful child, born in a holy family, had been trained by his father as a hermit. So he have never seen a woman before. The first time he saw a woman. The first time he saw a woman in his life, he does not know the difference man-woman. He doesn't know the difference. So when he saw the breast, he was asking his father, why this Prabhu is having a swollen? Is he sick? The father smiled, knowing the ignorance of the child. And he told the child, my dear boy, no, this is a woman and she's not sick. So what is that? Where's swollen chest? So the father explained to him, says, see, for when the child is born, one is completely helpless. Of course, we are always helpless at all stages of life, but we think that we are not due to ignorance. But more especially as a child, we're more helpless. And also when we become very old, we're also very helpless. We depend on people for everything. So the father explained to the boy, see, nature is very, very kind. Nature is so kind. And Krishna has made this arrangement that when a child appears, he has to feed from the breast of the mother. The boy was so touched by this, that God is so kind like this, that even before we appear, He has already made arrangement for our maintenance. That helped the boy because he's fortunately helped the boy to give his life in the to Krishna. God is so kind like this. Why I should not serve with a person who is so kind like this? But this is a great fortune that majority of us does not appreciate what Krishna has already made for us. So the human body is naturally designed to eating vegetables and fruits, nuts, grains. Human body is designed for this. Human stomach acid is approximately 20 times weaker than the stomach acid of carnivorous animals. So each Upanishad already warned us not to take what is not meant for us. We should always take our quota. Only our quota we should take, not going beyond that. Is the principle of salvation. Living very close to Krishna. So that our ignorance is destroyed permanently, certainly, surely. Our imperfections are moved completely. And perfection is guaranteed. So here, nature has made arrangement. The human beings are transgressing the law. But we've never seen a tiger eating grains. But we see human beings are eating grains and also eating flesh. This is transgression. This is violating the laws of nature. Our human body is not designed for that. Therefore, we don't see animals cooking their flesh. Only human beings will cook their flesh and put so many things inside. Why? To make it, to bring it our taste. Animals eating flesh, carnivorous animals, they eat flesh, it's very, very tasty and nourishing for them. Why human beings will waste time to cook and put so many things that can make it palatable? Because we don't have the qualification to eat flesh, and we are forcing ourselves to do it. Animals will not cook the flesh, and they are also not bound by the law. See, they don't pay karma, but human beings pay a lot of karma for whatever nonsense we do in this world. Carnivorous possesses a track 3 times their length and the body length, so that the rapidly decaying meat can be expelled quickly. A human intestine tract is 12 times its body length and is therefore not structured for the rapid expulsion of decaying meat. So we are keeping all these carcass within the body. Species that have a body designed for eating meat have claws. Humans have no claws. But who is seeing this except the devotee? Who sees this? When we see them, we don't see them, they don't make any meaning to us. We forget that nature has designed everything perfectly for our life. But our duty is to constantly transgress the law of nature. And then the nature will design a way to punish us bring a pandemic situation that everybody suffer. Look around the whole world. Tension, depression, anxiety, gloom. It is not God. It is not that the Krishna God has lost his power and he's no more. He's tired. He's no more responsible for us. No, it is we who are depriving ourselves of what God has made available for us. So we are to be blamed. We are to be blamed. Yes. Numerous potentially hazardous chemicals, of which consumers are generally unaware, are present in meat and meat products. The animals are fed a constant diet of tranquilizers, hormones, antibiotics. This is for their own business. This is for the business, for making money. For making money, people can go to any extent to destroy others. They sell unsuitable food for people to eat. They also don't have the interest of whoever they consider to be their customer in their mind. So everything, as we have been mentioning, is very, very risky, dangerous, and we will surely pass through it. That everyone is seeing. In addition to dangerous chemicals, meat often carries diseases from the animals themselves. Crammed together in unclean conditions, force-fed, and inhumanly treated animals destined for slaughter contract many more diseases than they ordinarily would because they are not happy. They are not happy. When an animal is going to be killed, you poison the body. So there's no wonder why people are having unnecessary stress, unnecessary disturbance of the mind, the body, unnecessary diseases, and unnecessary unrest all over the world. Because we constantly feed our body with unnecessary things, 100% unnecessary things, 100%. We constantly feed our body with unnecessary things, disease, varieties of diseases. Diseases come from our own mind. Diseases come from animals which we eat. We constantly feed ourselves with this. So much destruction. Human beings are creating every day. And we are considering that to be civilization. It is civilization. How is it a civilization where in this our activities are bringing so much suffering? We cannot stop to think why every time we are making serious arrangement to enjoy, but we don't see that enjoyment. And whatever we consider enjoyment will eventually become disastrous. Why? One will consider the human being only at this point when one will ask this question. Human life begins at this point. Not when somebody is simply living as an animal, or even worse than an animal. Because as we mentioned, series of funny mentioned, animal does not transgress the law. But human beings are doing that constantly. This is what we do constantly, every day. And we're encouraging the whole world to do the same thing. If what is not simple is not recognized in today's world, one is recognized only when one is sinful. And one is trying to be saintly is not encouraged. One is not encouraged to be saintly. One is ridiculed and blasphemed, blackmailed, or castigated. But if one is simple, you are glorified, honored, and respected. Those who believe they need to eat meat for physical strength should remember that some of the strongest animals, such as the horse, the elephant, and the ox, are themselves vegetarians. Just imagine. Horse is a vegetarian, elephant is a vegetarian, ox is a vegetarian. The human beings are thinking that we need meat to keep our body very strong. This is ignorance. This is the problem, and nobody knows what it's like. That is Bhagavad Gita, chapter 16. Krishna explained. Yasura do not know what is good, what is bad, what should not be done, what should be done. Yasura do not know. They do not know. They don't know it. Therefore, we are always living a risky life for ourselves and for others. Those who believe that they need to eat meat for physical strength should remember that some of the strongest animals, such as the horse, the elephant, and the ox, are themselves vegetarian. So it is not meat which is going to keep us strong. It is not. It is not. The oxen will plow the field the whole day without being tired. A human being cannot do that. You know? Human being can't do that. Even our machine cannot do that. The machine will break down. What do we give to the ox? Only grass. It will work the whole day. Next. Religious traditions and meat eating. In Genesis 1:29, God proclaims, "Behold, I have given you every herb-bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in which is the fruit of the tree, yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat." It means for food. This is the food prescribed by God for human consumption. This is what the human being is meant to eat. This is Bible. The Quran contains many stipulations concerning meat eating. For example, verse 22 to 38 states, "Their flesh reaches not Allah, nor does their blood, but it is your righteousness that reaches him." Yes. Yes. It is godliness that will attract Krishna. When one becomes saintly, one will attract Krishna. Our sinful life will never attract Krishna because Krishna is not sinful. So we can attract, we'll be we will present ourselves, we'll put ourselves in a situation where Christians will be interested to look at us, to see us by godly practice, godly qualities, not by sinful qualities. Although we find these things in the scriptures, almost everybody does not believe it, does not see it. I do not think it is important or something quite worthwhile, quite worth doing. We don't see that. This is our problem. According to the Quran, one should not eat pork or an animal that has been strangled. Where is that animal which has not been strangled? This is what we do every day. Has fallen off a cliff or has been beaten to death. This is what we do every day. If eating meat is such a problem, might it not be better to avoid it altogether? Yes, for intelligent person. For intelligent person, it will be better. The best thing is, why should I put myself in such a difficult situation? Why should I put myself in the problem? Why I should take to such a troublesome path? Why I should follow a troublesome path? When a bona fide path is available. Why not? Why should I take the path which is so troublesome, which is so miserable, which is going to bring suffering, more suffering upon suffering? Why should I take to that path? Why I should not take a better life? Well, people never listen to God. People never care for these things because we are bereft of the mercy of Krishna. We have lost the human qualities. And every day we see how human beings are becoming less and less humans by following the animal way of life. Or in other words, by competing with animals. It is not civilization to compete with animals. It is civilization to be obedient followers of Krishna. Yes. This is what the intelligent person should do, but how many people are asking themselves this question? If eating meat, or who is not eating meat, which is pork milk is considered a delicacy. I remember when I was a child in my village, anyone who eats a pork milk is considered a low-class person. Even among those who eat meat, who are so degraded, who eat meat, in my village, those who eat a pork meat are considered a lower class of people, the most degraded people. They're not considered important. But today, that is the language. When you are in the airplane, they will come with a burger, beef or chicken, and they make announcement for your dinner or blah 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 blah. We have this and that and that and that, beef or chicken, and they will bring it to come on. They will be distributing the poison, and after they distribute all the poison, the people then they will encourage them, enjoy your poison. That's what they say. Enjoy your meal. After this, give their poison thing to people, enjoy your meal. So what they are saying, enjoy your poison and die very soon. Yes. Next. meat eaters, violence, and karma. Not only is violence employed to produce meat for human consumption, but the ingestion of meat itself may make human beings more violent. How do we eat? The Quran already told us that it means not be strangled to death, not fall off the cliff, or has not been beaten to death, but that is what we are eating. So even the process of killing the animal itself is provoking more violence than eating the meat itself. Because that is what we're using in killing the animal, in making the animals available for our consumption, for eating. One is very, very careful when one is chasing the chicken or the goat or other animals to be killed. They're crying seriously, please don't kill me. They are running for their life, but we pursue them and make sure we kill them. Just see the cruelty. Just see the cruelty. Undoubtedly, the callous and brutal slaughter of countless helpless animals is a powerful contributing factor to this wave of unchecked violence. The law of karma requires that those who unreservedly kill so many animals be slaughtered like animals themselves. See now, people are very sick, you go to the hospital, there's no bed for you. People are dying in front of the hospital. They have made a lot of attempts to run to the hospital to get cured, but still, karma is so strong, so stringent. We cannot be spared for our nonsense activity, cannot be spared. When we are doing simple activities, we call this enjoyment. But when the reaction of those simple activities come, we're asking God, why am I suffering like this? We are suffering like this because we have committed so many simple activities. So the Prabhupada said, we should know why we are suffering. All of us should know why we are suffering. We should know. Anyone who does not know is a serious problem. Serious problem. We should know why we are suffering. The law of karma requires that those who unreservedly kill so many animals be slaughtered like animals themselves. That is happening. It is happening. Sometimes people are traveling in a bus. In one accident, 100 people have died. In a plane crash, all the people died. For some time, the whole plane disappeared. Nobody knows where they're going to. All killed, slaughtered. And look at the present situation. You run to the hospital, there's no bed, there's no doctor, there's no medicine, no oxygen, nothing. We are thinking that we may accuse the government, or the government don't provide this, they don't provide that, too many people are there, and then nothing is too much for God to handle. There's nothing too much for Krishna to handle. Nothing. May accuse the government, they're not doing. All of us are the same. If we are good citizens, the government will have good hospital for us to be treated nicely. So we are paying the reaction of our simple activities. Therefore, as we enjoy our simple activities, let us enjoy the result as well. We should not complain. You should not complain. You should enjoy it also. Yes, when we are doing simple activity, we call it enjoyment. And someone tells you, don't do this. Or why are you to tell me this? I'm independent. I know what's good for me. I know what to do. You don't have to tell me anything. But when the consequences come, they're going to complain and put many other people in anxiety. So we are brutal, sorcerers of ourselves. Yes, by our simple activities. So all of us who are leaders are very, very fortunate to have access to this eye-opening. Let us take this seriously and perfect our lives so that we can help other people become saved. The energy levels surrounding food. On a more personal level, eating habits can have a profound effect on individual well-being. For example, be mindful of the environment, atmosphere in which you take your food. And be careful when someone is watching you eat. If you eat while another person, perhaps a beggar, is lusting over the food, or while an extremely hungry person is present, psychically, that person will transmit lust, greed, or envy into the food. In such circumstances, the negative energy can affect you and even make you sick. Yes, it's a very, very big science, very powerful science, very powerful science. Why we are not allowed to see the food going to be offered to Krishna before it is offered. And particularly why dog is not allowed to see the food. If the dog see the food, it's not fit to be offered to Krishna. Why? Because if the dog see the food, automatically has eaten the food. Automatically. So it is no more fit to be offered to the Lord. Therefore, when food are prepared and has to be done by Brahmanas, because Brahmanas, they have peaceful mind. They are self-controlled. They are very clean, inside and outside. They are austere, very, very religious and spiritual. So they are composed, they cannot commit these offenses. The Brahmanas, not Kali Yuga. Yes. And even with all this, The Pujari has to also do all the necessary purifications, all the samskaras, to purify the food, to purify everything, all the necessary things before it is offered to Krishna. Why? Because all these things are necessary. So if one is eating in the public, very risky, very dangerous. So it is forbidden for a king, important person, to eat in the public, to sleep in the public, bed in the public. Why? Because the food can be poisoned. And all of you who are very close to me always know how I will talk about these things. The consciousness of the cook is inside the food. So in a temple, the cook and the pujari, they carry the potency of every temple. If the cook is not in good consciousness, but the pujari is not in the good consciousness, the atmosphere of that temple will not be good. So one can look into the food as already eating that. Envy is transferred into the food. The way we think is transferred into the food. But when he's eating in the environment, you walk into the hotel, 100 hungry people are sitting there. You walk inside the middle of hungry people. That's the energy I got to get. Hunger, hungry people, tension. Therefore, a responsible person is to be careful where and how we eat, what we eat. So Gurudev is making it very clear. Be mindful of the atmosphere in which you take your food. And be careful when someone is watching you eat. A hungry person, a person who is suffering, I saying it is transferring. If you just see how the person is enjoying and I'm not eating anything, that envy already transferred to the food. See how this person is enjoying and look at me, how much I suffer. I don't even have even one grain to eat for this person. See what he's doing. That is transferred to the food. So you have to be careful with this. You may also want to be selective about who cooks for you, who cooks the food. The mentality or energy of the cook inevitably enters into the meal that is being prepared. It's very important, very, very important. Not only is it wise to minimize the intake of meat, eliminating it from the diet if possible, but it is also important to reduce or stop the intake of stimulants, such as caffeine. Caffeine has harmful effect upon the body and can become habit-forming, resulting in nervous complications and digestive problems. This is very, very important for all of us. Most of us doesn't know why certain things are happening to us, why we have a lot of challenges in our life. It is coming from all these areas. What we eat, particularly for me, I'm very, very careful. Immediately I can see what is inside the person's mind. Or the nature. Some people, they are very good cook. They have very good experience in cooking, but the consciousness is not like that. So although the food is very good, but it is not so wonderful. So we are very careful about this, very, very careful. We can react immediately to whatever is inside the food. Immediately we can react. Immediately. 2011, 2010, we went to Jagannath Puri. His Holiness Jadweta Maharaj, His Holiness Bhakti Maharaj, His Holiness Damodara Maharaj, His Grace Madhavananda Prabhu, and many other proper disciples. We were in a retreat. So for a few days we were there, we were not doing anything. And then one day, one devotee went and brought some prasada. And because he was concerned, he was, oh, please take something, please, something. That's okay, I took little of that. At least I just took it. Immediately I asked the devotee, where did you get this? I told he brought it from the temple, Jagannath, Krishna temple. Krishna temple in Jagannath. I said, Prabhu, where do you get it person? I said, so I get it from the hotel. So please, I beg you, never bring something for me. Don't do this because I don't want it. Because it shows in the food. Immediately we can see that it was not the best thing. We didn't get it from the best. Yes. It is not good for spiritual development. Next. Proper water and food are two of the most essential factors for the growth of any person, community, society. A hungry person or an unhealthy one will not be able to render the most effective service to a society. How are you going to do service if you are sick? And you know that one can easily get sick from food, one can easily get sick from bad water. Easily. They are very, very powerful that can help us become healthy and be effective in rendering service. But at the same time, they can also help us to become easily sick if the water is bad and if the food is not good. Therefore, we have to be careful with this. As a leader, you are a primary example setter. Primary example setter. And therefore, you can alert people to the dangers of meat eating and its physical and spiritual effect, as well as its deleterious impact on the planet. Vegetarianism can contribute to harmonious coexistence, which is a desirable condition on many levels, ranging from the family to the global community. In these times, When humanity faces the possibility of massive worldwide destruction, a non-violent approach to nutrition and food production can contribute to world peace and produce beneficial karmic circumstances far for everyone. So we can invest into organic food production. Organic food production. If we really want to help people, we should embark on organic food production to help people, to help the world. That'd be wonderful. The whole world will benefit with this harmonious coexistence. Vegetarianism can contribute to harmonious coexistence. And food production to contribute to the world situation is to bring organic food. This is what Sir Papa wanted, our Cherry wanted this, His Holiness Bhakti wanted this. Here in Africa, he preached seriously and established many farm communities. He bought so many land for this purpose. we were not able to maintain it. But now, by His costless mercy, we have come to realize what He had planned to do for us. So we are taking it up to make sure we produce organic food, organic, an environment suitable for peaceful Krishna conscious practice. A facility to protect devotees from unnecessary artificial lifestyle, who can develop compassion to preach Krishna consciousness, to help the human society or living entities in general, not only human beings, not human society, living entities in general. Because our duty is to protect the whole planet, all living entities, to take care. We cannot do that just by preaching philosophy to people. We have to have a serious, practical mechanism to produce this, can really train, educate people, and let people understand that it is possible. It is possible. Can be done. And it should be done. Only in this way, we're going to help change the world. Many people will become Krishna conscious if we have these facilities. Many people are going to become devotees naturally, peacefully, and have a wonderful life to live. And then we will reduce the problems of the world. And Krishna will be very, very, very happy with us. All our children will be very, very happy with us that we help them in their mission to reclaim conditioned souls. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shila Gurudev.
Hare Krishna.
Shila Gurudev, we'll just open the floor for the devotees to ask any questions in case they have any.
Yes.
Dear devotees, in case you have any questions, you may please raise your hand on Zoom, or you may type out your question in the chat box. We have Pranhari Prabhuji going first for the question. Prabhuji, can you please start your video?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
How are you, Maharaj? Dandavat Pranam, Maharaj.
Very happy to see you.
Yeah, same here, Maharaj. I cannot see you. Your video is not, you are not reaching. Yeah, now.
Yes. Thank you for being here.
Maharaj, Yeah, no, Maharaj, thank you for giving me so much of information. I need to be healthy. I'm thankful to you. Maharaj, my question is, there are two questions. One is basically like, as you mentioned correctly, like when we travel, they only talk about truth, yeah. But also like when we move around, for a job and some other places, we see a lot of the, animals being slaughtered and hanged, yeah. So we're not able to do anything, but we feel very that how can we save them, But I don't have anything to save them, So what should be our prayer? Or how do we actually act on that part of it?
Sorry. Where animals are killed and hung. Did you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, please, what was your
Yes,
question?
Maharaj.
What was your question?
Yes, Maharaj. The question
The
is
last
like,
part.
there are so many. Maharaj, the question, the question is basically that we are not able to help them. And what we can do that? We just only watch and that and then we move on, Is that because the life has lost, of animal or whatever? We feel guilty inside that, okay, the animal lost and people are going to eat that animal. So uh, things we have to do it? Like, is there anything we have to do here? We just walk on.
Yeah, there's nothing you can. There's nothing you can do. You cannot go there and tell, hey, my friend, what is this? This is so dangerous. They will not hear you. They will not hear you. What can be done in that case? But if we can find a way to tell them this is very, very dangerous, that would be nice. That would be very nice. If you can find a way to tell them, it will be nice. If you can find a way to tell them about the dangerous situation they are in because of the trouble they are giving to other living entities coming to them, will come back to them. I remember the one he says he told the butcher, you should not live, you should not die. I show you how dangerous it is. You should not live and you should not die. You should not live because by your existence you are killing so many animals. You should not die because the result of what you have done is so terrible. So it's a very dangerous situation. But that is what it is. A butcher living is dangerous. Because he's destroying so many entities. And when he dies, it's also very dangerous because he's going to go and suffer. Who can tell how long that he's going to be in hell? So if we can find a way to tell them, especially those who we are familiar with, yeah, we can help them, tell them this is better to change this profession than to have this as a profession. Very dangerous. Yeah.
And Maharaj, I tried. I have a customer, a similar customer who has a butchery shop. We sell them a software and all that. And I don't go, but she's been using for a long time, And so I feel very guilty. We are supplying our application to them, But been using, I can't change it now. So that's sometimes, I don't know whether I'm part of that thing or not, because we only just supplying the application.
Yes. Yeah, part of it. Yes, a part of it. All right.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Next question, yeah.
Yes, Srila Gurudev, by Vrajlakshmi Mataji and then Shyam Murari Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Hare Krishna, Gurudev. Yes, I heard about the animals and the plantation, the trees, everything we have need to preach. And I was thinking at the water also. Is it possible to add then it is forbidden to put normally in the water any elements? I read in the I don't remember which text, sorry, I can find it. Then we should not put urine, stool, blood, poison in the water. And they advise then they remind us that normally we should do everything in the field or dry toilet, because the contamination of the water is a big problem also.
Yes. Yes, it's an offense to do that. Only it's an offense to do that. In fact, it's only degraded people who do that.
So yes, we have many topics to reach.
Civilized people will not do that. Only degraded people will do that.
Yes.
So it should not be done. It should behave properly. They all have consequences if you do that. If you pollute water, you suffer.
Yeah, everywhere, even in the collective places, we should not use toilet. It's better to go outside, take a precaution, or have a bucket in the room and go after in a garden and give everything to the earth.
Yes. Yes.
And we feel the difference that Krishna appreciates. I practice that now and I'm so happy. The time when I give to the Mother Earth everything, I feel, wow, like very light inside. Happy.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes.
All right. Next.
Hare Krishna, Srila Gurudev. Please accept my
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for your wonderful talk on agriculture, nature, and connecting it to our life, Gurudev. I have a question, Gurudev, that as a devotee, we hear many times that when God is happy, nature smiles. Similarly, similarly, if a devotee is actually serving or pleasing Krishna, should he not be able to also love nature?
Definitely. Definitely.
So Srila Gurudev, many times it is seen that many of us are more into born in city life, and we have a less appreciation for nature, for we have never went to field or never seen, never understood that its food comes from the ground, grains come from the ground. We have a habit of getting in the market. We never realize the rain is so important for nature, and everything is so, nature is actually very wonderful. So how can a devotee appreciate nature or develop love for the nature? And is it not, if one has not developed, then actually he has not developed maturity in his Krishna consciousness?
Yes. Yes. Therefore, we have to constantly discuss these things so people should know. Some people don't know this, like you just mentioned. They're thinking that in America, they'll go and tie meat on the trees. When they are tying the meat on the trees, they will not show it. After they have finished doing that, then they start showing people when they are coming and climbing the tree and be plugging those meat. So people believe that the meat is coming from a tree. So it is fruit. But how can meat come from a tree? Because they don't have any similarity. But we have become so dull-headed that we don't see that. I was surprised one day a devotee told me that I should show him what is cashew tree. You have never seen that. He knows about cashew nuts. You have never seen the tree. You cannot see which is the tree. I was shocked that this can happen. Yes, but it's happening. I have to show him this is cashew tree, this is mango tree, this is banana, this is that. So we have to tell people this. We should have this regularly, so people should understand that we need to be friendly with nature. That is our main problem. Our problem is that we are not friendly with nature. Just like when a child is not respecting the parent. No child can be good if he doesn't respect the child, not getting training from the child. No child will be good without being respectful. How are you going to get blessing to become successful in life? You must come from the respecting the parent. Or so Krishna can say respecting the spiritual masters and Krishna. So if we don't do this, we're not going to have any headway as it is happening. Therefore, people have to be helped. We have to help devotees to make them understand that it is very, very important. Our success will be, like you said, if God is happy, nature will smile. And those who make God happy that makes the nature to smile will also smile. We cannot be left alone because that is how it works. Whatever we offer, we must get the remnants back. That is sure. That is sure. So we should tell people regularly the importance of being eco-friendly. We should have a good harmony with nature. We should respect nature. And we should live close with nature. You see, when we sleeping on the ground, on the floor, how many hospitals we have in those days? How many hospitals? They're practically no hospitals. The coverage we all available. We're doing everything. But today, how many hospitals we have around the world? Unlimited. But how many diseases we also have? Unlimited. It is unnatural. It's unnatural. The soul is not a disease. So it's not natural. Death is not natural. Death is not natural for the soul. Poverty, ugly, these are not natural for the soul. All these things are because of the body we have and the misuse of our privileges. So people should know this. And then we can have life to live. Otherwise, we're going to continue living artificial, dangerous life, which we're living now. And the suffering comes, and we blame everybody for our sufferings. We don't blame any person for our whimsical acts. All right?
Yes, Gurudev.
Yeah.
How a devotee, just good adding to it, how in our, apart from hearing it, devotee should not practically does something service to nature, Srila Gurudev?
Yes. I mentioned that philosophy alone is not going to help anybody. We have to really do something. Even if you cannot do it, then we should support those who are doing it. The places that we have a Bible community, we should go there. We should go there and see what is happening. Yes, we are cultivating very vast and wonderful community here. All of you should come do some service and help the whole world. Because what happens here will affect the whole world. This is what we've been discussing. The whole world will be affected. Because it's a community. The whole world is a global community. Anything that happens here will affect the whole world. Whatever everybody thinks, it will accumulate to what is happening now. Everybody will survive it. So if you have one person become pure, everybody will face it. She has a problem, one person, see what they did, shook the whole world. Because something. So the same thing we should do something. We should do something practical, not just philosophy. Yes. Now some devotees are trying to establish this community. So we should visit these places and see what is happening. And we'll be shocked to see that we are missing a lot of things. We're simply destroying ourselves in what we consider civilization. It's just destruction. A person who is not a devotee is very dangerous. All right?
Yes, yes.
Gurudev, we have 3 more questions in the chat box. Should we take them now?
Yes.
Gurudev, the first question is from Jayesh Prabhuji. He's saying, Hare Krishna Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisance. If there is leftover food which is non-prasadam and contains onion garlic, should we give it to beggars on street? As it is stated in Bhagavad Gita that anything which is not offered to Krishna is verily sin. If we give this food for consumption to beggars, will it increase our karma and give us sin? The Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada says that we should not unnecessarily increase our karma. So, should we give this food to beggars?
The food which are not for the Krishna is not prasadam, which is distributed without meat, fish or eggs, but onions and garlic. It is a pious work. It's not spiritual, but it's pious work. So if you do that, at least it's a beginning. That's the beginning. So many people are doing like that. Many people are distributing food. There's no meat, fish or eggs inside, so they distribute that. It's not offered to Krishna. Just a pious activity. But by pious activity, you can accumulate more piety to become devotee. So it's not the best, but it can be done. It's not the best. And do that. At least it's food to have some. It's not so simple as when there is meat or fish or eggs inside. So right. Next.
Gurudev, the next question is from Venkatesh Prabhu. Prabhuji has 2 questions. He is asking, Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for your association. Question 1, if devotees in the renounced order in the temple are living on charity, is this logic correct that they must be very pure in practice, else they will be affected by karma coming from the charity they are living on? This is the first question.
Yes. Yes. If we were actually the brahmachari living in the ashram will not incur sin because the brahmachari will collect all the charities and give to the spiritual master. And the spiritual master, he will use them and give the remnants to the charities, the devotees. So they will not incur anything. Yes, but the point is that we should be pure to be able to receive the charity so we can use it without being affected by the reactions. But when we get the charity from people, we carry the sins that goes with what they have done. They get purified, but we are carrying the contamination. So we must be powerful enough to be able to purify their contributions. Yes.
Srila Gurudev, the second question is, how is it that the consciousness of the cook is transmitted despite the bhoga being offered to the Lord?
If a person is cooking in the mode of ignorance, contaminated, if that food is offered to Krishna, or somebody cooking in the mode of passion offered to Krishna, someone cook in the mode of goodness and offered to Krishna, Krishna will accept them, but what he will return back to us is the amount of the thing we have offered to him. He's not going to give us good name for ignorance or passion. He's going to give us what we have offered. That is why we also have to be careful with what we eat, even if it is offered to Krishna. We have to check and see. We have to check and see. It's very, very important for us to understand these things. Very important to understand this. The consciousness is what matters. That's what is going to go to the food. So pure devotee, when they cook the food, one does not need to offer them because what is the man is 100% Krishna. Therefore, they don't need to offer their food. But sometimes, because they are teaching by example, sometimes they offer, but not always they have to offer their food. But for us, all our food has to be offered because it's not. So it is not that if a person in ignorance cook, Krishna is going to make it goodness. He will give us, he will accept it, he will take the purification and he give us back because what we offer is what we're going to get. As we surrender Krishna with the word accordingly. Not cheating. So we have to be careful with what we are offering to Krishna. So be careful with it. That is important. Very important. All right?
Thank you. Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Srila Gurudev, should we take one last question?
Yes, please.
Gurudev, this question is from Anurag Prabhuji. He's saying, Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam. Often we do not know where our milk comes from, whether the cow was treated respectfully or mistreated. In this case, shall we consume the milk and milk products or not? But in any case, if we want to consume milk products, what can we do?
Well, this argument has been there a long time. Ahimsa milk, we talk ahimsa milk, and there is veganism, and then we talk about what is also the milk which the cows are being forced or mistreated and not suitable and not fit to be offered to Krishna. I was hearing from His Grace Shruti Kriti Prabhu. The answer he gave was that Krishna Sir Prabhupada did not discriminate all these things. He simply accepted whatever was there. In other words, it is best. First class thing is that it is best for us to have our own cows and get our own milk. This is the best. And we know that it is not always like this, not always like this for everybody. So situations, we most places we don't have cows that they give milk. What to do? So we don't offer Krishna the product. So offer to Krishna. At least we are not encouraging them to do that, but when we offer them to Krishna, Krishna will help those cows. So if you don't have the first class thing, you can go for the second one, the secondary one. At least something will be done, and Krishna will liberate all those cows and make them fortunate that somehow their milk have been offered to Krishna. So we can make the best use of a bad bargain by this offering that. Then we can take the remnant until we are able to get our own and be satisfied with it. Does it make sense?
Yes, Gurudev. I think that was something never heard before. It was really helpful, Gurudev. Thank you so much.
Yes. We cannot say no milk for deity because it's not a himsa. They are mistreating the cow. They are packed. They also pack them, like Gurudev said in this thing. They pack all of them, all fixed together, torture them, and they are not happy. So, and then they are being killed in a very merciless way. It's so terrible. So we cannot say that. And they feed them with all kinds of things, and so they can get more milk, so they can make more money. So it's very dangerous and risky for them. But if we offer them to Krishna, those cows will be liberated. We also get benefit because at least we have done something for Krishna. Otherwise, you don't offer it into Krishna, stop Krishna from taking milk and wait until you get your own cows. And how long will you do that? You don't know. So better to make the best use of a bad bargain. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shila Gurudev. Thank you so much for this really wonderful session that you gave today. And we're very happy to inform all the devotees that we are almost coming towards ending this book in Shila Gurudev's very nice and helpful association to help us get into the deeper teachings which Param Gurudev is giving us here. And a total of 3 more topics would be covered over the next few sessions. Approximately 5 more classes, and that is how we'll very happily cover this first book by Srila Bhakti Swami Maharaj, by the kind grace of Srila Gurudev. So we thank you all for joining very enthusiastically and consistently all throughout. Thank you so much. His Holiness Bhakti Damodara Swami Maharaj ki jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Itai Gaura Premanandi.
Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Gurudev.